Hi, I'm George the Weather Dad. I had a visitor the other day, Senna, a very bright sixth grader and a budding meteorologist. We sat down, we had a great conversation about all different types of meteorology terms, but she was really fascinated about clouds. So I thought today's weather classroom will tackle clouds. Now, the only negative about Senna is the fact that she's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. If you're from Southwest Ohio, Cincinnati in particular, you know what I mean when we hear Pittsburgh. Clouds. We have a lot of them out there. We have high clouds, we have puffy clouds, we have dark clouds, and we have low clouds. And with the right imagination, we have animal clouds. So we can even see possibly a dog in this one. But of course, we have all seen the bunny cloud. Clouds also come in a lot of different colors, and to explain that, we're going to have a specific weather classroom just on cloud colors. All clouds are made up of water. Water has three phases. We have the solid state, that's ice. We have the liquid state, of course, that's just water. And of course, we have the gas state. It's the gas state that we need to form clouds. Now, we don't see water vapor in the air, but we can certainly feel it, right? Summertime, a lot more water in the air because warm air can hold a lot more water than cold air. And with warm air, we have a lot more water, more humidity, and we can really feel it and also cause us to sweat. Now, as far as getting that water vapor in the atmosphere, we have the hydraulic cycle or the water cycle. My two daughters, Kristen and Allison, when they were in elementary school, came up with a song to help them remember the terms of the water cycle. And maybe we can get them to sing the song here on the Weather Dad sometime in the future. First, we have evaporation. The sun is a major factor in that. Heats up the ground, the air rises because we know that hot air rises, and we have getting water vapor in the atmosphere due to evaporation. Transpiration is another way of getting moisture in the atmosphere. Our plants, and for us, when we take a breath in and breathe out, we're putting water vapor also in the atmosphere, and as it rises, we have clouds form, we have precipitation, and then that water flows right back into the oceans and lakes, and that is in fact then the water cycle. Just having water vapor in the atmosphere does not make a cloud. We also need dust in the atmosphere. We have the water molecules floating around, but we need it to condense on something. That's called condensation. And we have these little dust particles in the atmosphere. And when the conditions are just right, we have condensation. They start collecting on that little dust particle, start growing, and they start growing. And to get to this size, well, they start forming together, and that's how we can then see a cloud. How do we get dust in the atmosphere? Well, the wind plays a major factor there. Gives us a dust storm, or if you've ever been in a dusty parking lot and all of a sudden see a swirl going on, well, that's getting that dust in the atmosphere as well with the wind. Smoke from wildfires and also smoke from pollution puts those particles in the atmosphere in order for water vapor to collect to form a cloud. Now, again, just having the water vapor and the particles in the atmosphere, we need some energy to get those things together to cook to make our cloud. The sun is the main source of that energy. It actually heats up the ground. The sun does not necessarily heat up the air. It heats up the ground, and this is where the air gets hot, and we all know that hot air rises. As it rises, the air cools, and again, cold air cannot hold as much water as warm air, and so we have condensation occurring, and then of course, then we have cloud formations. Another way we can get the air to rise is with a cold front. A cold front plows across the ground, forces that air up, once again cooling the air, and we have condensation occurring, and once again we have cloud formations. We have three different levels of clouds. We have high, middle, low. The very high cirrus clouds are crystal type of clouds. Then we have alto clouds, and of course we have the most famous of all clouds, the cumulus cloud. By knowing the types of clouds and what causes them to form can actually help us forecast the weather. Now, for that information, we're going to have another weather classroom to explain how, in fact, we can forecast the weather by just knowing different types of clouds. Until then, I'm George the Weather Dad, and Senna, thanks for stopping by.